right. Today is Friday, January 23rd, 2026, and it's time to do the Friday crossword, the first themeless puzzle of the week by Joyce Keller, edited by Will Shorts as always. All right. This is a pretty standard Friday grid. I'm happy to see how this works out. Barely enough. So if something is barely enough, then it might just do, just about, just essence of the matter, the gist, niche for a shrine, a niche, like a little nook or something, because niche in general is sort of like a small, kind of obscure or a specialized area of work. For instance, a French letter opener. I think it might be RSVP because it stands for Répondez s'il vous plaît. It could also be cher, which means dear. Blackish patriarch, actually, this is Dre. So that's probably cher. And then completely convinced is something with an ED, I think. It might not be. Completely convinced. I'll take a look at what else there is. Broccoli. Okay, this is, every time there's broccoli blank, it's broccoli rob, which is a sort of a plant similar to broccoli. What may be dying to conceal? Hair? T-shirt? What some may be dying to conceal? I mean, you would dye gray, maybe a little possessive, maybe as in your, but spelled a bit shorter, maybe. Some bodybuilders. Well, that's going to be S over there. Backstreet Boys, perhaps. One who's on the defense or defense. Lawyer. Maybe. Dulcet, sweet. I didn't notice right away, but it looks similar to dolce, which is an Italian word. It's also like a musical instruction meaning sweet. Don't be absurd. Oh, something? Something, leave? This is an interesting combination. I'll come back to it. She's out there. Then what does this look? How to look at your hot fudge sundae. This is kind of strange. I'm not really sure. Okay. Let's see what else there is. Many a choir girl could be an alto. I'm listening is, I don't know, bits in a byte, e.g. Well, there's smaller units. I mean, oh, maybe this is talking about octet because it means specifically a group of 8 because there are 8 bits in a byte. Pocket money, spare change. Might work. Momentous moments. Let's take a look at this. Environmental concern is smog. And what is this? Some pico? I'm listening. Maybe this is go on. Of course, it could also be clued as goon, but maybe not. Maybe New York Times doesn't want it to be like that. Pico, it could be Paco, Poco. Any vowel could work there, really. A fiddle with feathers, say. To fiddle to, this is a verb then. To fiddle with feathers, like you might sort of preen, like a bird might preen itself, might sort of fix its feathers. It will fiddle with them. Momentous moments are milestones. Then, like Kyatweed among gems, perhaps it's the rarest. I'm not sure how you would classify the rarest, but it's possible there's some metric for that, and in this case, this I can't pronounce it, is the rarest. A-list, select, you would have like select wine or something. You'd have like the top wine. Select meaning top in that way. A lawn look is a stare. What is this? They really click as a pair. Well, this is an S. Settled on the bottom. Sat, perhaps. You sit down on your bottom. Capital near the Red Sea is Sana. I believe that's the capital of Syria. I could be wrong, but it's one of those countries. I know it's not Libya. And I remember this was some capital. On the level. I actually don't really know what that means. I'll come back to it. Internal turmoil is angst. Then what is this? Interest of Marco Polo is the East. I guess you wouldn't say that anymore, but since this is historical, it is appropriate to call it the East. Then what is this? Something shoes. Oh, tap shoes. They really click as a pair. That makes sense. It's a fun one. Digital application. This press on nails. So This is a perfect clue because this makes you think it's like an app, but it's something you apply to your digits, your fingernails. Hangouts are um, okay. On the level is honest, and hangouts are something with an S. What is this? One may be carried in a concert hall, a tune, perhaps. Hangouts, haunts. I don't think it's haunts. Okay, let me look at this. I know this one. TGI Fridays. It's some chain store, I think, but it's not in the West Coast because otherwise I would have seen it. I've seen it in crosswords. A mouth organ. Well, it's not an instrument you play with your mouth. It's actually just an organ, so it's a tongue. Micro mobility option. I don't know what that means. Okay, as a treat. So you could also this also means like for free, I guess. Like you could have something as a treat, or my treat. I don't know, but I guess it is also you can look at Hot Fudge Sundae as a treat. All right, sure. Some bodybuilders. What might build some bodies? I'm guessing this is not a literal bodybuilder because it's a question mark. So it's some kind of other body that's being constructed, but that's not human. I think this is police. I've definitely seen police spelled like that in crosswords, so I'm gonna go with that. But if it's not, then what is this? Some bodybuilders. I don't know. She's out there. Essence of the matter. I'll come back to this. I'll just look at what else I know. Masters of manipulation. I mean, typically you would call someone a user if they use someone. The masters of manipulation might be something different, but I'm gonna go with that for now. One setting on speakers. It's maybe one setting on speakers. Not it's like a setting. Um, the four-letter answer I can think of right now is mono for mono versus stereo. Um, like quartzite vis-a-vis quartz. So I'll come back to this one, but I know this one has at least an ER because this is asking what is it saying is like what is this in comparison to this, and typically like means an adjective, so you want to find an adjective that describes this in comparison to this. So maybe it's like whiter or something. Peach or plum should be a fruit. It could also be a hue. And it would work with the U. I'm also still not convinced with this though, so it could change. To say I do. Tie the knot, to get married. To say I do, to promise. I'm getting the feeling that it's not actually the literal wedding oath, so it could be something different. A recent recruit is uh, new hire. Well, hiree. I don't think that's a real thing people say. People don't say hiree; they say new hire. Um, I'm gonna look elsewhere. Cushy is probably easy, like a cushy job. Out of joint. Well, I'm thinking in this case, joint might mean like joined. So if you're not joint, then you're solo. Could it possibly be solo? A mass ink. To ink is to sign something. I think that's what that's going for. Classic toy for budding engineers. I would think this would have been Lincoln Log with that G at the end. Or is it a Lego brick? That means a lot of these are wrong in that case. I'm not too convinced yet. Let me look at this one. A longing look. Longing look. I don't know. I'll take the... Oh, this one's on me. Yeah, I'll take the blame. It's like, this one's on me. Say I do. Something it. Deem it. Gouded. I don't really know. Oh, micromobility is an e-scooter. Now I'm convinced that Hugh is right. Then what is one setting on speakers? One setting. Oh, bass. You can set the bass to be high or low. So it's one of the knobs that you might have on a speaker. Like quartzite vis-a-vis quartz. So it's some comparative adjective. Hazier. Could it be hazier? Oh, okay. Actually, I know this one. This is an erector set. I never played with erector sets, but I've definitely seen it, and it shows up quite often, more often than say a Lincoln log, just because it has very common letters, all one pointers except for the C in Scrabble. So this is harder. Quartzite, I suppose, is harder than quartz, and then designer Jeffrey could be bean, eye, or bedroom. Bedroom eyes? Okay, sure. Then recent recruit is a hiree. This is easy. And out of joint knee? Surely not, right? Say I do is commit. Sure. Named for a Revlon fragrance. I don't know this R&B singer, which maybe I do, but oh, okay. I think joint is now talking about like prison. It's sort of a separate word for prison. So if you're out of prison, then you're free. Then mass is heft. So then ink I guess collectively could mean like multiple tattoos. So that's Kiara, which is good. Yeah. Commercial procedure of geo is Nat Geo, National Geographic. Gelded is neutral. Neutered. I think so. I think it's neutered because it's a adjective with ed. Apt rhymes for pads is ads. As in, if you pad a resume, then you add sort of unnecessary fluff to it. Is that maybe what it's going for? To tip is to, well, tip could mean like the end of something. It could also mean to sort of lean. Texter's chow is Sia. Text insert for flash forward scene. Oh, years later. That works with these letters here. It's making the... Okay, Charles Mingus is a jazz bassist. He has a famous trio quartet, I think. Making a complicated simple, awesomely simple. It is. So it might be something related to jazz. They make streaks on cheeks, tears. They make streaks. To tip. Maybe a tip is like a lead on a case or something. Elena Kagan. Then what is this? Haunts? Creativity. Making it complicated simple. Sure. Late actor Kilmer. I don't know. I might be Val. I think Val is one of those words that is typically clued as a name because it's not like a real word. It's more like an abbreviation of sorts. Trattoria tubes, I think is ziti. Is definitely a kind of pasta. Then zilch is zip. And this is couple is an item. You might like, I guess you kind of refer to it as like in tabloids or something. You might call like two celebrities that are together an item. And then this is a funeral pyre because guck is slime. And what is this then? Some bodybuilders. Oh, now I see this one. Okay, this is genes because they build your body in a way. And they're multiple genes. They would build like a person, like a body. Nice. She's out there is... oh, lesbian bar. All right, so I like this way this is conclude because typically when you see a clue in this construction, it's sort of you're trying to, the way you're supposed to interpret it usually is that you want to find who this she is. Who is the she that is out there? But in this case, what you're really looking for is the there. Like what is the place where she is out? And then, of course, she is out. Refers to being lesbian. So nice one. A niche for a shrine. So this is actually niche is referring to a nook of sorts because an apse is sort of a hidden niche area of a shrine or like a cathedral. Then an essence of the matter. Essence of the matter. Well, I don't know what that is, but I know that this is scant. So I'm gonna put that in there. Nice. Let me see what this actually means. The essence of the matter. I know that a nub is a sort of a shortened, perhaps it's talking about a summary of some long article or something. And then if someone wants to just have like a very short nub, like it just kind of sort of indicates that it's shortened or it's a very, very brief description of something. The thing that I appreciate about all of these Fridays is that all of these words are very fun ways to are very fun words. So there are sort of layers to quality when it comes to writing crosswords. Some of them, um, for instance, themed puzzles, especially ones that have very restrictive theme requirements, like in the geometry of the clue, you kind of can get away with some um, compromises, so to speak, with the fill and the kind of words that you choose. Particularly on Sundays, I think Sundays have the most compromises with clues, and that's not really like like no offense to Sundays, right? Because it's just sort of the way that it's created. Like Sundays are just the largest grids, and typically you would expect um, Sundays typically do have longer average, on average, longer words, which makes it a bit difficult to fill. So on Sundays, you typically see long words, for instance, that are just kind of boring words. I'll be honest. Um, like grassiness or something. Like a lot of NESS words also, which kind of just add an unnecessary amount of fluff to words that aren't don't really add much to the um so to speak, like the enjoyment of long words. So it's nice whenever you get the opportunity to have long answers like this that you make them something that's fun, and not just like a word you might see in the dictionary. Like all of these long answers, around 9 letters or more, have something interesting about them. And there's always an interesting clue that you can find for them. So it's always nice to have a really nice and clean, especially clean Friday like today's. So I also noticed that there were a lot of question marks with this. A lot of question mark clues, which some of them really got me. Like this one, jeans. I'll be honest, I at the point when I had GE blank ES, I feel like I could have put something together. Um, but the way that I was pronouncing it was sort of like jeunesse or something. Or if there was a different letter, it would have been like Gillesse or something. And I didn't really know what that was talking about. I was actually thinking more in the way of like a marble statue, like artist or something that was building a body physically. In this case, it is still like that. But I was not thinking about genes. I was thinking more of a human builder. All right. Anything else that sort of got me? I would say there was one out of here, out of joint. This one I think is especially clever because it doubly tricked me. At first, I was sort of thinking joint as in like a knee or something, and then I was like, well, maybe not. Maybe it's talking about joint, meaning connected or like together, not in the same way as like the physical joint. So in that case, I was thinking of like solo, because if you're out of joint, it means you're not joint with something else. So you're solo in some way, or alone, or lone. And then later I got the ee at the end, and then I thought, okay, maybe it actually is a knee, because the only word I can think of was knee related to joint. But then that also tricked me as well. It wasn't that either, and it turned out to be free, interpreted as a completely different meaning than what I thought it was. Settled on the bottom. I think this is it's actually quite difficult to find clues like this that are still fun. I actually had a lot of fun with this one because you have a lot of ways to clue sat. A lot of them have already been done just because sat is such a common word to show up in puzzles. So it's nice to have something that is vaguely represents something fresh, that is something completely different than the meaning of sat, and it still makes a lot of sense and it really works. Yeah, okay. That's all I had to say about this. This was a very clean puzzle. Very much enjoyed it. Thank you, Joyce. Yeah, that's it for today.